There was a nun, a prioress, who had a very sweet and quiet smile. Her name was Madame Eglantine.
There was also a nun, a prioress, who was very simple and modest in her smiling. Her greatest oath was but by Saint Loy, and she was called Madame Eglantine.
She sang church services through her nose very nicely, and spoke a simple kind of French she learned in London.
She sang the divine service very well, intoned in her nose in a very polite manner, and she spoke French very well and elegantly, in the manner of Stratford at the Bow, for French of Paris was to her unknown.
Her table manners were perfect. She never let a crumb fall from her lips or dipped her fingers too deep in the sauce.
At meals she was well taught indeed. She let no morsel fall from her lips, nor wet her fingers deep in her sauce. She well knew how to carry a morsel to her mouth, and take good care that no drop fell upon her breast.
She was careful never to spill on her dress. She even wiped her lips so clean that no grease was left on her cup.
Her greatest pleasure was in good manners. She wiped her upper lip so clean that in her cup there was seen no tiny bit of grease when she had drunk her drink. She reached for her food in a very seemly manner.
She was very friendly, and tried hard to act like a fancy lady from the royal court, so people would respect her.
And surely she was of excellent deportment, and very pleasant and amiable in demeanor, and she took pains to imitate the manners of court, and to be dignified in behavior, and to be considered worthy of reverence.
She was so kind-hearted that she would cry if she saw a mouse caught in a trap, especially if it was hurt.
But to speak of her moral sense, she was so charitable and so compassionate she would weep if she saw a mouse caught in a trap, if it were dead or bled.
She had little dogs that she fed expensive meat and milk. She cried if anyone hit them with a stick.
She had some small hounds that she fed with roasted meat, or milk and fine white bread. But sorely she wept if one of them were dead, or if someone smote it smartly with a stick, and all was feeling and tender heart.
Her head cover was pleated perfectly. She had a fine nose, eyes as gray as glass, and a small, soft, red mouth.
Her wimple was pleated in a very seemly manner, her nose well formed, her eyes gray as glass, her mouth very small and moreover soft and red. But surely she had a fair forehead. It was almost 9 inches broad, I believe.
She had a wide forehead and wore a pretty cloak. She had a coral bracelet and a gold pin that said, "Love conquers all."
For certainly she was not undergrown. Her cloak was very well made, as I was aware. About her arm she bore of small coral a set of beads, adorned with large green beads, and thereon hung a brooch of very bright gold, on which there was first written in with a crown, and after "Love conquers all."
She had another nun and 3 priests with her. There was also a monk who was a master of hunting.
She had another nun with her who was her secretary, and 3 priests. There was a monk, an extremely fine one, an outrider, a monk with business outside the monastery, who loved hunting.